Hey, good evening. Welcome to DABS Season 5, Fourth Friday Story Hour, the final season. Yeah, my tech crew, you'll see in a few minutes, they're the ones that talked me into doing this. So we're gonna make it a lot of fun this year. You'll love it. But the first show here today is you're gonna get the chance to meet the production crew. You'll get a chance to talk to them and see what the deal is. So sit back, relax, take a break for a minute. DJ, where's my theme music? Welcome back. This is the production crew for DABS Fourth Friday Story Hour. We're minusing 2 people, James and Jaden, so we give a shout out to them. They both had a prior engagement, sending somebody home, so that's the good part about that. But the big thing is that this is a production crew. This is impressively Monique. That is Jasmine Ross, Jazz, and that's Pamela Williams. So let's get into this a little bit. So let me start with Pam. So you're the sponsorship person. Kind of tell us some stuff about sponsorship and how it goes and how it works.
Sure. Hello, everyone. DABS sponsorship. Be a part of DABS sponsorship by allowing us to spotlight your business. You have a small business upcoming, we would love to have you highlighted here as one of our partners. It just takes a few minutes. We'll come by, have a conversation with you, get your information, and then you'll be able to be spotlighted as one of the upcoming in and about around the community. It's really simple, but we do need your help. So if you go to our website, you'll find all the instructions out there. Again, we want to spotlight all small black businesses in and out of the community. 30 seconds each interval, maybe about 60 seconds really. And as you see, you get a couple of spotlights throughout the program to inform folks about your business. I know you guys can do it. We'd love to have you as one of our spotlight sponsorships. Yeah.
Tell us some of the things that you do to go seek people to come. What are some of the inner workings of you making that happen?
You know, I mean, actually, if you're out there, I can use a directory, I'm gonna find you. I'm driving around, word of mouth, which is of course referrals or even recommendations. I'm gonna pop up sometime during this calendar year to your location. But you can always contact me at the website information or directly at 248-210-9091. Again, 248-210-9091. I'd love to have that conversation with you so that we can get you again on our episode. Spotlight your business in the community. Mm-hmm.
When you say spotlighting, what does that entail?
Well, actually, it gives a little bit of a shine, highlight. You know, we want to draw some business to your business by having your information on the show to let folks know that you are a viable business that would love to have them patronize their business. So it's a shine, a moment of shine, and we're going to spotlight you during our segments, so that people can come to you to patronize you. Mm-hmm.
I know we do stuff because the show is filmed here in Detroit, Michigan, but do we offer people outside the state to be a part of this program as a sponsor?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to be local. Again, if you want your business to be spotlighted, I hate to just say that word again, but it's the definitive word, just contact us. Local is great, but it doesn't have to really be local because you have a business. You want people to be able to come to your business no matter where you're located at. So please, don't let that be a deterrent. Contact me, Amala Williams. 313-442-DABS. That's 313-442-3227.
How much does it cost to sponsor per show, and how many segments do they get?
The sponsorship is a small startup. It's $50 per episode. Now, you get about 2 to 3 segments. It's 2 segments actually, at 60 seconds per segment. What a value, And it's always going to be archived. So again, you're getting a good bang for your buck. But not only that, you're helping a nonprofit organization to continue to do what we do, which is to be able to be out in the community telling stories. So it's a win-win. Yes, it is.
All right, I see she does phenomenal work and stuff with us. She also does some things for the actual association also, so that's a good thing. But in the meantime, and right now, I got something I want you to do. Pamela Williams, take the stage.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Excuse me. Still a 5-minute story? Absolutely. You know, going back in time, there was a time when, well, let's just put it this way. You remember the boat called the Titanic? Yeah. What we didn't really get privy to was during that particular movie or anything at that time, there were no black folks shown on the movie. Well, it was kind of odd because as you know and I know, black folk has been around since the beginning of time and will always be around in time. So let's go back to that particular time. The Titanic was just up and coming. It was a wonderful show, beautiful. They had all the trimmings. I mean, after all, it was newly built. Folks came on one by one, 2 by 2 with families to have a really good voyage, which was the main objective, to see some things. Well, they had plenty of dancing, dining, wining, all sorts of things was happening aboard the ship. However, all of a sudden as they were wining and dining, boom, they hit an iceberg. Trouble on the deck. Captain, up, I'm already aware. Let's get Coast Guard. Tack, 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 Morse code. 901, tack, 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 Morse code. SOS, SOS, SOS. No response for a long time. Well, the captain then thought, perhaps we need to get some help internally. Listen, first mate, yes sir. Go down below and get Tom. Go get Uncle Tom. We need him to come up right away. I need his help. Yes sir. First mate goes down. Get Uncle Tom. Tom, listen. The captain needs you to come up on top of the deck. Step. So scat. Get up on top of the deck. All right, how's it going? How's it going? Tom comes on up on top of the deck. Captain? You called for me, Captain? Yes, sir, Tom. I need you and all your folks to do what you normally do at a time when it's needed. I need you all. I need you. I need you to go ahead on and do that thing that you do so that it can help us with this ship situation. Because because as you know, we've got water that's flooding over there. All right, so let me go get some of my folks. Tom goes down, get some of his folks. He said, listen, we need to come on up here and do what we normally do. But it's a time of crisis. So they all came back up on top of him. And he says, listen, let us do what we normally do. Let us bow. Bow your heads. We're going to do what we normally do, which is, Heavenly Father, we come here right now. We're asking, dear Lord, in your name. You know, Father God, there were times when we would go certain places, and we get around that corner, and we may want to go in and get a nice apple pie. But it said on the door of the restaurant for white folks only. And so, dear Lord, we went on down the road a little bit more. And we wanted to get a drink of water. Lord, but it said over the spigot, for white folks only. Lord Jesus, this boat here, we've been serving as best as we can for the white folks only. And so Jesus, when this here big old boat go down, Lord, when it go down, please, Jesus, let it be for white folks only. Oh Lord,
Hey, there you go. Way to go. Pamela Williams, hey, she's a sponsored person. Do contact us by email or through our website, one or the other. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this word.
Located in the heart of Detroit's Midtown neighborhood at 4750 Woodward Avenue, Hannah Center is the perfect place for your meeting or special event. To secure rental space, please call 313-833-1300 extension 11. Again, 313-833-1300 extension 11.
Welcome back. I hope if you're in Detroit area, you get a chance to come check out the Hannah Center. This is a phenomenal place. The commercial you just saw for it, they're our sponsors for this particular show. They're the ones that provide this set here for us in their building. The building is absolutely amazing. So you'll see it a couple more times and kind of look at it. If you're in Detroit area, do stop by here and you'll like everything that's here. Moving on. Next is our tech person. This is the actual technical person who does all the tech stuff along with James, who's not here today. James, by the way, is our sound guy. He does all our microphone things at all our events. And for this right here, making sure everybody's situated, making sure everybody's microphone is set and that kind of deal. But he does that. James is also his grandson. He's an assistant. And he actually knows the sound system just as well. He's only 11 years old. So at 11 years old, you know, we got to bring our kids up to do some stuff. So he's our future sound person as it goes along. They're truly missed today, but I got to let you know who they are and what's what. You'll see James later on in the year doing some stories, so you'll know exactly who that is. But next is our tech person. Our tech person is Jasmine Ross. jazz, jazzy, whatever you want, however you want to say it. But she handles all the tech stuff as far as putting the program together. She's the one that does the editing and that kind of deal. Jazz, tell us some of the stuff that takes put this on.
So it starts like obviously with getting the set up, which my dad normally does, gets the drums out, the chairs, I kind of help like put the graphics on the screen in the back, and then I end up setting up cameras. Today we only have one camera, but usually we'll have a camera over here and then a camera like either on this side or this side, making sure everything is in frame, and then making sure sound stuff works, like with James, making sure that everybody can be heard on the cameras so that when I go to edit it in post, I don't have to play with volumes and stuff, or if I do, it's not like too much, it's not turning it all the way up or turning somebody all the way down. And that's just pretty much what we do like on filming day, and it's just like getting everybody's stories together and then flowing our recording schedule in a way that makes sense for everybody. So if somebody can't stay for the entire recording session, which we normally do, we aim for 9 to 11 or 12. Sometimes we start late, sometimes we get a little ahead. It just depends on what everybody has going on that day. But if somebody can't stay, we tend to actually record the end of the show first. So before we actually record the stories that you see, like we were kind of filming in like a reverse order. So the ending of the program where everybody's together, we record that first, and then based on like somebody has to leave early or somebody can't stay. I know we've had programs where people had to go to work right after, so we kind of get those people out the way first, and then people like me or other people have to like have all day typically to kind of sit and do whatever. We let those like people go last, and then that's pretty much how filming day goes. And then after that, it's just all me at my apartment on my laptop, just piecing it all together to make what you guys see on the YouTube channel. So
Yeah, we decided to put this on YouTube a few years ago. We thought it was a better idea. That was actually her idea. So kind of tell us about the editing day.
So it starts when it's the day that I normally have off work, because depending on how many like storytellers or spoken word artists we have, or depending on how many people are in it, and then how long the stories are, they can take me anywhere between like 2 to 3 hours, so like 4 to 8 hours. And also depends on how focused I am and if I have other stuff going on. So if I can like sit down and focus, I can knock it out in about 4 to 5. Again, depending on everything like lengthwise. But it's normally like it'll start with me getting up and like being like, okay, today's the day. Sit down and actually do this and make sure that it's done on time. And then I try to get it done early. Like we film on second Saturdays, so I try to get it done like the third Saturday, Sunday, around like that third week in between. Just in case we need to like work out any kinks, if there are any questions I have before we post it, make sure all of that is straightened out before it gets uploaded and shown to everybody. And then I tend to not do it at home. I say I do it in my apartment, but I actually end up finding like a local coffee shop and going to do it in there, because I don't like, as you'll hear in my story, I don't like strangers. So if I put myself in a room full of strangers, I'm more likely to get whatever I have to do done as soon as possible. And that kind of streamlines that process too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're editing the program, what are some of the issues that you run into?
Sometimes I think the biggest issue that I've ran into is music volume. When people do music, which like not to deter anyone from using music, it's just when you use music, you have to also like make sure your mic is turned up. And I think we hear it in the room, but then when I go back and listen to it, when I like watch the recordings and stuff, sometimes the music is still like overpowering whoever is speaking or singing or performing on top of it. So that's like probably like the biggest problem I've had. But even then, like we've been able to work it out to where people are still heard and it's still a performance. So.
So just so you know, she's directing this entire season. This is her season, the final season. She's one of the main people beside Pamela talking about we need to do a 5th season, 5th and final season. So this is why this has come about. But Jazz is directing the entire season and she's doing the whole thing. So all this work you'll see this year, and she just directed last season 4, but this year she's doing it all. And you'll see a lot of her work and what she does. I am just totally amazed because she's never been to school for any of this. And Project you see is just basically self-taught and just how she does. So she does a phenomenal job. So it's good that you're here because now I need you to take the stage.
Of course. So, I always say that I am someone who is what we call a young and turnt, as the Gen Zers say, as I am Generation Z. I am what we call a young and turnt, which literally just means that I'm super positive, super energetic, super hyper all the time. So, excuse me while I be young and turnt for like the next 5 to 10-ish minutes. So there's 2 things that I hate in life. And I know we try not to use the word hate, because hate is a strong word, I get that, but trust me, I go to the gym 5 days a week, I do strength training 4 of those 5 days. I can carry the weight and I can carry that hate for these 2 things, and it's really just like small things. First thing I hate is seeing people outside of the context that I know them in, which sounds like a lot, but it's literally just, if you're my classmate, my teacher, I don't want to see you at the grocery store. Because you try to start a conversation and it's like, we don't have that type of relationship. I get the notes from you when I'm not in class, or you teach your lecture and then we go on about our business. So that, I'm very socially awkward. So when I see people outside of the context I know them in, it just like hurts me to my soul, and I hate that. The second thing that I hate, as I said before, is strangers. And not like, if I'm driving down the street and I see somebody walking down the street, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you suck. I'm not gonna do that. I hate the strangers who like try to come and start a conversation with me just out of nowhere. I could be standing there minding my business and then somebody will walk up and be like, you know, I like your hair. You know, 2 years ago I had locks, and then they just go on off into this tangent and I'm just kind of standing there and I feel stuck because I don't want to be rude, but also I'm just like, I would do anything to not be in this moment right now. And the fact that I hate talking to strangers is actually very, very insane to me, because I did choose a job where the company that I work for, their biggest vision and mission is to create third places for their customers, and part of that is having their employees, or partners as they call them, to connect with their customers on a personal level. We actually get graded when you come to, I won't say where I work at, but when you come to our establishments and they send out the surveys at the end after you leave, they ask, did the employees connect with you on a personal level? And so when I heard that was part of my job, I was a little skeptical, but I've been faring well with it. I will say that the customer connecting is the worst part of my job for me. But as I've moved from store to store and business to business, I have grown accustomed to the people who come in there often, or what we call regulars. And as I just moved to a new store in this past month at the beginning of August, I'm now learning all of the new regulars, and people coming up to me like, oh, I've never seen you before. When did you start working here? I'm like, oh, I've only been here for about a month. And today I want to tell y'all about one of my favorite regulars, actually. His name is Malachi. And when you work in customer service, there are 2 different types of regulars. There are the regulars that come in and you're like, oh, I know your order. We're gonna have a great conversation. This is gonna be a quick, easy interaction, or we're gonna have a good conversation. And then you have the regulars who are super picky, super problematic, that when you see them walk in the door, you're like, can we start this drink? Can we start this item already for them so that they can hurry up and leave? And Malachi, unfortunately, was one of those regulars at my current location where everybody was like, oh no, he's here. I don't want to deal with him. And I've always been taught to give people a chance and to not judge people based off of what other people have said about them. So obviously the first time he came in, everybody was like, oh, I hate this guy. And I was like, oh wow, he looks nice. So I walked up to him, I greeted him, I took his order, I got his items, and he was super pleasant. So I was just kind of confused as to why everybody was super mean and nasty to him, until probably about my 2nd week being there, another customer had spilled a drink in our lobby. And I went out there to go clean it up, and he comes up to me, he's like, we're name tag that says Jazz, and he walks to me and goes, Jazz, do you want help with that? And then just like takes his cup of water and pours his cup of water on the ground on top of the spilled drink as I was mopping it up. And I was just kind of standing there, and I had to sit there, and I was like, no way, you just poured this cup of water on the ground. But I was like, you know what, it's okay. I was cleaning up anyways, and I said, you know, I didn't need help, but thank you. I think I have it from here. And it was kind of like a shift in tone. And I guess he noticed that I had a little shift in tone, and my demeanor kind of changed, and I went from, oh no, like I'm fine, like super happy and bubbly with him, to you kind of pissing me off a little bit. And he just kind of looked at me a certain way, and then he went to go sit down. And I went through like the rest of my shift, and he was still sitting in our lobby until it was getting time for me to go. And as I was grabbing my things to walk up the door, he stops me and he goes, hey, was I not supposed to pour that water on the floor when you were cleaning that up? And I said, well, no, but I appreciate the help. However, if there's a mess next time, just let us know, and then we can use the proper tools to clean up the mess. That way, like, no one slips because you pour in the water, it created an even bigger mess that I had to clean up, and somebody could have slipped on that, it could have been a big thing. So just for everybody else's safety, if you see something that's wrong, just let us know, and we can go, we'll figure it out and fix it. He goes, okay, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for explaining that to me. And I kind of like, just kind of got the understanding that he just didn't understand that that was wrong. So a couple weeks had went by, and actually right before I came back to Michigan, he came up to me and he was like, hey, I have a new job opportunity that's a little further away from here, so I won't be in here like anymore like I normally am, but I just want to say thank you for always taking the time out of your day to be super nice and super welcoming to me when everyone else has been always super mean to me. And I was like, of course. And it kind of just got me thinking that we should really just give everyone a chance. And as much as I hate strangers, I think I'm going to try being more nice to them, even outside of work where I'm not contractually obligated to be nice to them. But yes, I think I'm going to start trying to be super like a little more nicer to people who come up to me and just start conversations and strangers. As much as I hate it, I think I'm just going to be a little more positive, because when you are negative to someone, it can ruin their day, and then it just becomes a ripple effect that they project that negativity onto somebody else, or project that negativity onto someone else, and then it just becomes this huge ripple effect, and now everyone in the world is upset. So yeah, spread positivity.
Okay. Awesome job. So, Jazz, our technical person here, she does all the tech stuff, and she's the director of season 5, the final season. Hey, sit tight real quick. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. This particular one happens to be about how to become a DABS member, Detroit Association of Black Storyteller member. We take all ages, it doesn't matter. We do like people who want to come in and tell a story, because everybody has a story to tell. So watch this and we'll be right back. Get some refreshments. We'll be right back.
Stories, stories, stories. What are stories?
Stories are simply something that happens every day.
Stories could have come from the past.
Stories could be happening right now.
Stories can be past, present, and future.
Stories can be happy.
Stories could be sad. Stories, stories, stories. Just what are stories?
Stories are simply something that happens.
Stories can be good. Stories can be bad too.
Stories could be happy.
Stories, stories, stories. Just what are stories?
Stories could be happening right now.
Stories can be past, present, and future.
Stories can be true, like all of my stories.
Or stories could be made up.
Stories are something that simply happens.
Stories could be happening right now.
But the most important thing about
stories must be told.
Hello, we are the Detroit Association of Black Storytellers, also known as DABS. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We offer many services, including storytelling, workshops, group facilitation. We host events. We perform at churches, schools, senior centers, and senior living facilities, birthday parties, family reunions, and even business conferences. We tell stories for all ages. Whether your event is large or small, we can accommodate it all. Contact us today to discuss how we can help make your event memorable. Call us at 313-442-3227 or visit our website, DetroitStorytellers.com. If you'd like to see us in action, check out our YouTube channel, Detroit Association of Black Storytellers. And remember, just a little DABS will make your event spectacular.
But the most important thing about stories.
Stories must be told.
Hey, welcome back. We hope that if you want to be a storyteller or anything along that line, check us out. We have our website, or you can contact us at 313-442-3227, or you can contact us email-wise at detroitdabs@gmail.com. Somebody will get back to you looking for any ages or anything, anybody to come either become a member, or if you want us to come perform at any of your events. We do them all. It doesn't matter what it is. Just let us know. In the meantime, impressively Monique.
Hello.
She's our graphics department for us for Fourth Friday. She also does graphics for the association as well. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Our graphics and stuff that you do. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so I do the flyers for not only Fourth Friday, but any of the DABS performances that you need a flyer for. And that basically, or it can be turned into tickets, or I've seen you guys make posters or like poster boards out of them. So they've been used in different ways, and I was excited to see that one actually, because I wasn't expecting anything but a flyer. So when I got there and saw the poster board and the tickets, I was like blown away at my own work. Because I like to make sure that the tickets and the flyers or whatever we're doing matches the theme of whatever the performance will be about. You guys did a all-male review when you had the guys talking, and I forgot the name of it, but it made me think of barbecuing. I think it was something that you guys did. And so the flyer was like a Father's Day theme, but it was like barbecue pits and different things on it. So it's always like a feel to it. So I do like to do the graphics for that, and I'm looking forward to doing graphics for other merchandise, so we can have like a little DABS store, hats and different things like that. I like the logo already that you guys have, so I really just designed around it. With the book open, making the A, and different things like that. I like your logo. So I add the logo and just take all the background out, so it's just the logo, and just pop that on top of whatever.
All right. Okay. So when you're doing this, what are some of the hurdles you deal with?
The hurdles that I deal with would be sometimes time and making changes after, like, I've done the flyer, and I because it takes time to do a flyer. It may take a couple of hours because you want everything in uniform. And so if I get all of the pictures, if it's 3-4 performers, and I get us all in a way where we're all uniform and it looks right, and then I send it to you and you're like, everything's great. And in the next 2 days, you'll be like, well, so-and-so's out, so-and-so's in. And I gotta change the picture, or, sometimes. And then the artists have the pictures. They all, have their pictures that they want used. We've had a few artists change their picture. And so just to cut around it, I may crop some things out. I may edit the picture. I may make it sepia or black and white, depending on what the theme of the flyer is. So sometimes it's also just, like I said, I use Canva, but I don't like to just plug and play like whatever Canva did. I just throw your pictures in there, and you know. So I'm always add my own design or style to it, and sometimes just getting all of us to not look crowded on a flyer, so that it's not all pushed together. And I always want to make sure that our names, because names are important, so wherever there's a picture, I always try to make sure that the name is on the picture so you know who is who. I don't like when people just throw names and so-and-so will be there, so like, who is that? So I always want to put the names on it, and I always want to make the artist feel special. Like when they look at the flyer, it should be some kind of like a pride to it, because that's also about promotion. I think when you like what you see, it's easier to share with others and tell them, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Here, come out and see us. But when the flyer looks nice and it's not just like a regular piece of paper with writing on it and it's popping, I like to use different fonts and stuff. So I like to invoke feelings with graphics, and that's what I get to do with that.
Okay. And plus you do some other stuff too, though, but that's that thing there. So I know I run you crazy sometimes with it, because you're right, she'll do something and then in a couple of days I'll look at it. I trust this group so much, I just pretty much tell them to go do their thing, and I kind of glance over stuff and I go like, okay, yeah, you did it, I'm gonna have to check it. I don't define to, be micromanaging. So I kind of just, and then I look at it a couple of days later and I go like, okay, wait a minute, we forgot something, we got this, we got that, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to upload stuff into our marketing stuff with materials and stuff like that, then I'll notice something there, and then I'll call it. That's what it means, like 2 days later. And I say, hey, you forgot this, you forgot that, we need to put this in there, you need to add that kind of thing. So I know I run you crazy. I'm sorry. So
a little known thing I also do for DABS is I am sometimes your soundboard. Like you need to vent it out.
We'll get that.
It's like, yeah. So, but sometimes though, even with that, it gives me ideas for graphics.
Right.
Because emotions, it's not always positive. And sometimes with graphics, what I'm trying to do with that is by the time you see that and we put that out, it may ease a little bit of the tension. So, like I said, that DABS, and then learning more, because DABS is doing more. And we're going to start doing bigger things. So I am starting to take classes on Canva to learn how to use it in different ways. So it's not just flat graphics. We may be doing 3D stuff. We may, so whatever DABS does, when it grows, I want to grow as an artist with it.
Okay. All right. Well, you do great at it. I have to admit, she does a lot of things for us. She does absolutely great. So, but right now, impressively move.
All right, thank you.
We should take a second.
Okay, so today I want to talk about what actually got me started in doing graphics in the way that I do. I've always been an artist. Even when I was a little kid, I used to always love to draw and color and paint, stuff like that. And I would be excited when school started. Not because I was excited about school starting, but I was excited about getting my school supplies, because I love Lisa Franks. And I would always get like everything, the folder, the pencil, the trapper keeper, the book bag. I would want all the Lisa Frank stuff. It was always very colorful. Every year she would have these different designs, but it was just full of like turquoises and pinks and dolphins and just pretty animals and stuff, and I always loved that. And so as I got older, we're gonna say in like 2025, I was going through a lot of things here in Detroit, and I just wanted to get away and just start a new life. So I moved to Troy, Alabama, and I went to Troy State. And while I was there, one of my classmates had his own apartment, and 2 high school girls had ran away. They ended up at his apartment because they were at another guy's apartment and that lived in his complex. And this particular guy put them out, got into it with them, put them out, and they didn't have anywhere to go. So they went up to his apartment, but he didn't feel right having 2 young girls at his apartment. So he called me, and I came and I picked them up, and I took them to my house. And while I was cooking and doing things around the house, just, I was going to make them something to eat, feed them, and talk them into going back home. These girls were like 15, 16 years old. And so while I was cooking, I had my back turned to them. They were sitting in the kitchen and they were at the table talking to each other. And the conversation was very mature for their age. And I could tell a lot of misinformation and a lot of immaturity I could hear in the conversation. But I didn't say anything. I just let them keep talking, and I kept cooking as if I wasn't paying attention so that they would go on and feel free to talk. And after that, I sat with them, and while I was eating with them, we discussed some of the things that they were talking about that I heard. And I realized that a lot of our young people needed guidance because they were only talking about that kind of stuff to each other. They weren't talking to adults. So they were given a bunch of misinformation and a lot of information and ideas from an immature standpoint. So I became a Girl Scout troop leader, and I took middle and high school girls so that I would have that opportunity to speak with girls about issues that were going on in their life, and we dealt with a lot of different things. So getting to the graphics, a lot of the girls that I'm jumping. First, it started with the building. I lived in the projects in Troy, Alabama, and I went to the head of the projects and I asked them if I could use this community building, because nobody was using it. It was a community building for the projects to throw events and different things, and nobody ever used it. They let me rent that whole building for $1 a month. And so me and the girls fixed the building up. We had all kinds of things we could do there every day. And we had a parade that was coming up, and we had all of these different troops that were going to meet and do this parade. And all the other troops, I had an all-black troop in Troy, Alabama. Their mothers didn't have much money. It was just something for their daughters to do, and they knew where they were at for these 3 hours or that I would keep them. So they couldn't afford. We went to the website and we saw all the Girl Scout things that they had, the shirts, the badges, the sashes, all of that stuff was too expensive for them. So I asked each one of their parents to give me $10, and me and my co-leader went to Walmart. We got everybody white sweatshirts, we got transfer paper, and we came back home, and I wanted to find a way to make a custom shirt. And so back then, if you wanted graphics, you could go on Microsoft Word or something like that, and when you went up to the graphics, they would give you little pictures and stuff you can play with. And I found a picture of a Girl Scout. It was a little, she was just a little drawing of a Girl Scout planting a tree. And it was a white character. And I figured out how to make her brown and put her on the front of the shirt. And because my co-leader was in the sorority, she was a Zeta, then we hooked it up to where our line, we made the girls like line names. And me and her went to Walmart and we got like these embroidery patches, but we got the open roses and we got all the girls' buds and put them on that side, and we gave them all their line names, and we wrote the line names in fonts and colors that matched the names that we gave them. So one girl fought a lot in school. She was going through a lot of problems and she would fight all the time. And this little girl really had a reputation for being a bad kid. Even adults and like people didn't really want to deal with this little girl, but when she came to our troop and she dealt with us every day, we found her to be a very sweet little girl, but she was quick to fight. And I think that's because she had big brothers that beat her up all the time, but we called her the Raph. And the Raph, the way we wrote her name, like in horror bleeding letters down her arm, she loved it. Everybody had their own name, their own font, their own thing, but we all had the same Girl Scout on the front. And so when we got to this parade, all of these troops were standing around, and they had all of the Girl Scout everything, Girl Scout shirts, the sashes, and the badges, and all of this stuff, and they really just looked like troops. And our girls got out with these sweatshirts on, and I was just taken aback about how proud my girls were of their shirts. They didn't care what the other troops had on. In their mind, nobody's troop looked better than our troop. And to have some of the other troops come to me and say, you know, could you make our troops some shirts like that? And it just meant a lot to me because here I was with this little dinky graphic that I found and just changed the color on it right quick and made some sweatshirts just so my girls wouldn't feel left out. And they ended up almost being like the star of the parade. And ever since then, I started doing stuff with graphics and pictures and images and words and fonts. So in my mind, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you put the right pictures on the things, even an ink pen, a sweatshirt, or it could become your favorite thing just because of the picture that is on it. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I want to come up with the art for like 1,000,000 words because I'm always thinking of something artistic. And now that we are in this age where like even like text messages aren't the same now because we went from writing out text the whole sentences to like starting to abbreviate and break it down into little half words like IDK and LOL. And now they have emojis and little pictures now, so you don't have to use words or letters at all. If you like somebody's stuff, you can put a heart, or you could put a fire, or you could do praying hands. That's like you truth. So it's like I love the fact that we can now take pictures because in the beginning, before we had words, there was pictures. And pictures and images are something that are very big to me. So I'm glad to be able to do that, and that's my story. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mo, come on back up, man.
Oh, man.
So, this is Impressively Mo. She's our graphics department for Fourth Friday. She also does graphics for the association. So you might want to contact her if you want her to do some things for you also. That's up to you. It's on you. Know what you want.
Know what you
want. Know what you want. Know what you want. So that thing. In the meantime, we'll be right back. Check out the video and the commercial about the Hannon Center. You'll like it. Pay attention to some of the stuff you'll see. We'll be right back.
Located in the heart of Detroit's Midtown neighborhood at 4750 Woodward Avenue, Hannon Center is the perfect place for your meeting or special event. To secure rental space, please call 313-833-1300 extension 11. Again, 313-833-1300 extension 11.
Hey, welcome back. As you see some of the things that she's done, this particular one right here, Mo just did that for advertising this particular show. So it's good there. We're going to do some quick takes here real quick. This last segment.
Like I ain't thinking of it.
I know, you think the So the quick takes for this last segment. Tell me some things about Fourth Friday that you like.
I like the opportunity that it gives like storytellers. I feel like with DABS main stage in general, like it's kind of harder to get on programs when you don't have the experience, and I feel like this is a really good starting place for new storytellers who are joining DABS. Like it's a little more laid back. It's not like getting on a stage the way that we film. Like it gives you the space to make mistakes, because I can always just go and like edit little things out. Like if you stop in the middle because you forgot something, I can go take out that pause, and then you would never know when we go and play it back. So it's a lot different than doing it on stage in front of a crowd. And like also for people who are a little crowd shy and like nervous about doing it the first time, and I feel like this is a good space because normally it's just us. Like you see us looking around and talking as if there's other people back there, but literally right now it's just us four in this room. So we don't have like a live studio audience in here when we film, so it's also pretty.
What are you going to say?
That was weird for me at first. Like coming from spoken word, you know, I feed off the energy of the audience. So the first one we did, and it was just like, me popping it down there, I'm thinking Michelle. Carmen Michelle. Yeah, and we were sitting over there, and it's like, okay, y'all, I need y'all to clap, do something. You know what this is. Like, so we had to, you know, kind of do that for each other because as spoken word artists, sometimes, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't know, when I get up there and do my stuff, I'm just up there doing me, you know, and I don't know if I'm doing good or not, but the audience will say, you know, rewind, or the audience will do something to let me know, like, yeah. But when you're here by yourself, it's just your voice, and it's like, oh man, I don't know. So I have to wait until I see the video and all of that kind of stuff. So the first couple of times I did it, I wasn't really down with it, but I kind of got used to it. And then the things that she said, like, oh, but the good part is, if I forget or if I mess up, then she can make it look like I didn't do that. So, you know, I found I like doing it now, but the first couple of times I was more or less like nervous because spoken word artists, especially if you really, that's what I do. Like, I don't use music and stuff like that because my energy is like the crowd. I feel them, they feel me. And to get in here and I didn't feel me. And it was
I remember that episode actually. It was beginning of the year before last in January. You guys came out and it was awesome. And so, yeah, I was trying to give you that hype because I had gotten hyped up. Yeah. You guys were just rocking with the words and it was wonderful. Yeah, and so
that was so weird. Like even with one of the poems I do, which is like one of the ones I do all the time, is called On One. I don't say it, the audience do. And that's how I know that they rocking with me. If I say, you know what it is, I'm like, I'm gonna need just be the audience say On One. So to say it, and I'm looking over the prophet, I'm like, y'all better say it. Yeah, that's why I'm looking over at them like, you know, I'm not gonna say it. That's only, but you know, but they know because they go and with me. But it was, yeah, that was the thing. Like, who gonna say On One if I'm? But they happy.
So 5 years. I'm sorry. This was 4 years. This is 5 in the last season. 4 years. From the beginning to now. How you feel?
You know, I think it's an excellent platform, as Jazz said, an opportunity, but not only just to be able to practice, basically, but it reach so many people. You know, so it's just not local. It's everywhere. And it also gives each of us a chance to go back and rewind. So that we can improve, you know, as well. So it really helps out in many ways, but it reaches a lot of people. Everybody got a story to tell, you know. So if you feel that you are a storyteller, you are. Tell your story. Practice makes, as our elder D says, not perfect, but better.
I always use this line too. I tell people, I say, if you got on the phone and you're gossiping and telling something that happened, that's telling a story.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't really put that together. If I call you up and say, do you know what happened, this, that, and the other, let me tell you what so-and-so did, and you go through the whole thing, you just told a story. You might have to polish it up a little bit, whatever, but actually you told a story. And when I tell people out in the streets, when I'm telling people that, they look at me like, no, did you get on the phone and tell somebody something? They say, yeah, then you just told a story. You told the account of something that took place. That's a story. And then they look at you and they go like, oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, okay. You know, that kind of thing. So tell me some funny things that happened in the 4 years we've been doing this. I already know what you're going to say, so you go last. So,
You do not. Well, you got something that you want to share? Tip your tongue.
That was funny. And besides that, me doing my first storytelling, because like I didn't think I was a storyteller either. It was like spoken word was added to storytelling, and I wanted to show that spoken word could be storytelling. But the first time I actually did a story and talked about my grandmother, who I was very, very close to, and having a chance to laugh about her, and again with the audience, feeling that energy back, that they were really laughing along with me and different things like that, just to relive that moment with her, because my grandmother was funny. But that was a funny moment to even just like tell the story and have people laugh with me.
She did a story years ago about her mom. and her grandmother years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
So we were in another platform. But when she told the story, that's when we all kind of like, can we be storytellers? Like, we can do this. Because we were in the rolling, and it was like, that didn't happen at your house. And she was like, yeah, it did. When she got done, we were laughing so tough, it was just too funny. But that gives you the idea that you can be a storyteller, that kind of thing. So you, Miss Jazz. No, Pam, go ahead then. Go ahead,
I
sorry.
was thinking that actually my grandmother, who was a storyteller of the family, and that's how I got inspired. Listen, I love listening to her stories. Oh my gosh. I mean, she would have us, or at least me, in the awe. And so that's how I got comfortable with telling stories, because of the stories she passed on. And as far as my mom, you know, she was quiet, but she had her moments when she had some wonderful stories too. And so it's always a person in the family that has been known to tell the stories. We need to keep the stories going. You know, that's the whole part of with the association. We help to keep the association going. Oh, what, 33 years?
We got stories. Everybody has something. So, what were you going to say, man?
I was going to say that I'm just super proud of like the Fourth Friday Story Hour and how far it's come. Like, we weren't always like this. If y'all remember, like the very first Fourth Friday Story Hour came like in the heat of the pandemic, and we were all on Zoom, and we were just like muting mics because people were like, I think my funniest thing was like, we started off the program and we were like, hey guys, just so you know, like if you're not performing, you should like keep your mic turned off, because it's rude to the performers when there's echo, or like, because we hear them echoing, we can't really hear them, we just hear the echo, and like it's clashing, or like we hear whatever you have going on in the back. And I think somebody was like actively watching TV in the middle of Fourth Friday, and they were in the Zoom with their mic on, and we were just all like, are you gonna turn it off? And I think like one of us had to go in and like manually mute them. We were like, and I was like, it wasn't funny in the moment, but now looking back, it was just like, look at how far we've come. Like that is so like goofy.
It's funny that you bring that up, because the Fourth Friday became something that we were doing amongst the association. So I said, let's get together during the pandemic, because we were all on lockdown, if everybody remembers.
Sure.
So we started off doing stories to entertain ourselves, but something for us to do, give us an outlet. Nobody can go anywhere. Hey, why don't we get on here and do this? And then I kind of just started thinking, and I started bouncing ideas off of Pam and Jones and Gwen and Shell, that kind of thing. And I said, hey, why don't we turn this into a program? So Pamela turned and said, let's do this. And I said, okay, let me put this together. So I had a vision and a concept what I wanted to do, this number. And by halfway through basically season 1, Jazz had been watching it, and Jazz walked to me and said, I can help you make this better. And she came with some ideas, which I never thought, because we were just doing it as a fun time, Friday night type thing, to get some laughs amongst it ourselves, to break up the pandemic problem and the pandemic monotony. And then it bloomed from there. And each year we've gotten better. And now we're here where we're at now. And season 5 is going to be something totally different and even better than the other 4 seasons. It's just, me personally, I never thought it would get, and I never envisioned this getting to this level like this.
Yeah.
We never thought about getting on a stage, production studio like here, and doing something. We were just fooling around. And now, look, here we are doing this kind of stuff. And it has helped us. I agree with that. So, with that said, this might put some people on the spot. Who's been your favorite artist that you've seen be recorded? That's a tough question, isn't it? Because everybody's been good.
Yeah.
And we've gotten into new people. We brought spoken word into our organization now. And you see spoken word people in January. They have their own show that they strictly do that. You'll see more again in that, along with a couple other people. Simple that kind of scenario. Not to mention some other things we're going to do this year, but they'll be in January, and then you'll see them, the spoken word people doing stories, actual stories, in other shows this year. So you'll get to see their versatility, like she was talking about. We never thought about spoken word being storytelling, so you'll get a chance to see that. So I give you a chance to think about somebody.
You know, that's a really good question. There's different categories, different type of talent.
Name more than one.
You know, before I name a talent, I want to go behind the scenes for one person. And you said something about being funny. Our Papa Watts, I certainly do miss him and his grandson on today. All those flashbulbs. James, we thank you.
James is too funny.
Today, yes.
James Winfrey, he's too
James
funny.
told the story about the man, I was having to tell the story about the man that passed away, and yeah, okay, so his story was good. I like the way he used his voice and different things like that, and
Never knew somebody passed away to be so funny.
that was a funny. It was good.
This
That was a
person
good
passed
story.
away. Are you serious? But it turned out really good.
It did.
So that kind of thing. So who y'all think?
Maxine, the man with the orange hair that go like this and
Yes.
like this, like this. The man with the orange hair.
You know somebody?
So it's like definitely split between two. I think from like I always love listening to Shani tell stories. Like literally probably one of my favorites in our association, like by far. But someone like that was newer that kind of surprised me was Chosen when he came on. I really liked like his message and stuff, and he was different, something that like we really weren't used to for DABS. And I was a little nervous too. I was like, how is this gonna kind of be received? But like the fact that everybody really enjoyed it still, I was like, okay, yes, like.
If you've missed any of our shows from the past 4 seasons, go on YouTube, click on any of the shows. You'll see the people like she's about Chosen. You can look at the spoken word people, you'll see them on there. You see all of us where we've done something all year long. So if you get a chance, go back and look at all the past shows, as well as you keep up with this year, because of what we're doing there. So it's always on there, we're never taking it down. You'll be able to see that. You'll see some of our concerts that have been we've done. You'll see those on there also. Our YouTube channel has absolutely grown. I'm outdone by that. Never thought that would happen. So my favorite artist, I don't really have one. I think for me, all of you guys are my favorite artists. Because you guys took it serious and you came on here and said, hey, and I pitched it to you to come and show your talent, to showcase yourself. This was a good opportunity to showcase so people see you on there and they may want to call you and tell you to come do something at their event. So all of you are my favorite. I don't have not one particular one. I just don't. All you guys are it. So just season 5, looking forward to it. That kind of thing. Okay. We're gonna have some fun. You're gonna see some funny stuff this year. We're gonna do some things. That's our show. We thank you for showing up tonight to watch this. A little different, but you got a chance to see some people. We've done some things over the last 4 years. This 5th year, this final year, is going to be something even better than the last 4. So we'll see you soon. Until next time, we'll see you. We have a show that's coming in October, but you'll see that show. It's one we recorded a while back. You'll see that one. That's a 4th Friday show that you'll get a chance to see. And you'll love that. You'll get a chance to see some people do some things. And then we'll be on in November with our regular programming and going on from there until probably February when we do a Black History program, that sort of thing. We got a star-studded alignment this year, doing some different stuff. We got some new people that's coming to the stage. They're going to do some things down here. So you'll get a chance to see everybody and see a lot of things. We'll see you Thank you for joining us. Enjoy season 5, the final season of Dad's Fourth Friday Story Hour. Until next time.